Hi, welcome and welcome back to my channel. It's Angelina here. Today we are going to be interviewing the people I went camping with on my 30-day off-the-grid winter camping experience in northern Minnesota. If you watched my last video, I kind of talked a little bit more of my personal reflection on that time, but this video is going to interview the people I was with and get their perspective on everything. It's been about 1 to 2 months back in civilization at the time of the interviews. I asked everybody what they're up to, how the transition was back to society.
It's been good. Yeah, just getting
Yeah.
back to regular life, going to work and everything, getting used to everything again, getting used to not always being cold.
Got COVID a week after I got back, which was cool. I'm still kind of sick right now. Fun fact, I worked the night audit shift last night at my hotel job, so 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., baby.
I just came back to the hostel. It's kind of empty right now. Since I came to Antigua, I've been relatively lower energy. I can feel the fatigue from the other places just catching up to me. My fingers are permanently rougher now. I feel like more strength. I'm still journaling. I have it right here. Or this coming Sunday, I'm going to be hiking 2 volcanoes, which is going to be intense.
I'm taking every moment that I can to be in the sun. So that's what I'm doing right now. Just chilling at home, working out, hanging with friends. I'm actually in the process of getting my training license to work at the gym that I go to. I'm also taking some classes too right now. I'm taking a fashion class, a Buddhism class, and an English general education class.
I was also skiing for 2 weeks with my parents. That was some of the most snow I've ever gotten while actively skiing. There was an 8-inch powder dump one night.
So that must have been nice compared to all of the cross-country skiing that we were doing.
It was fun. It was nice because I got to acclimate to warmer temperatures before coming to New Jersey. There's a lot of nice parts about being in civilization. And then I came home, and then I really didn't have anything going on. It was a really weird feeling going that I was doing a community service. I still am. I just enjoy it. It's a place called Tony's Kitchen. They have this thing called the Choice Pantry, and they give like fresh fruits and like canned goods, meat.
Describe your experience in 1 to 3 words.
Life-changing, I'd say eye-opening, but that feels too similar. Challenging.
Been a shell-breaking experience. The roller coaster, highs and lows.
Bizarre, boundary pushing, or like bone chilling.
New and rewarding. That trip has shown up as a huge help in my life and life afterwards. It is so rewarding to push yourself that far and see how much you're capable of and do something that is so out of the norm. The most fast results that I've gotten in terms of like personal growth. So this is just kind of a funny one, I guess. It's just entertaining because everyone in our group just was so unique and had such an amazing personality. And I was constantly entertained by the conversations that I had with different people. I guess just like the filling of the soul.
Challenging and rewarding. I think very first thing is that it's cold. I think that's always the first thing that will come to mind when I think about Bob's. And with that is like the challenge, like staying alive, learning stuff. And then like it's rewarding to know that you do that and do something really hard and just like pull through.
What do you miss the most out of our time out there?
First thing that comes to mind, honestly, is you guys, the group.
Second thing that comes to mind, because that's a given.
Gonna be honest, first breakfast.
When I wake up in the morning, I'm like, where's my
Yes.
bagel and bacon? Hand it to me.
Yes. I miss someone else handing me food.
And it didn't even matter if it was slightly cold and burnt. And
No, not thinking about the real world.
And that camaraderie that we all developed, and like being a part of that anymore definitely kind of sucks.
The fact that we didn't have our phone was such a huge relief. I feel like our generation is so inclined to reach for a device or just constantly be entertained by something, whether it's listening to music, a podcast, watching TV, playing video games, something like that. Like even if we're brushing our teeth or something, I feel like we always have this noise in our ears or screen in our face. What I want to do in my life more is feel content with the feeling of being bored because most of life is just these small little steps that build on each other to end up reaching goals. And a lot of life is monotonous. And for the most part, the days are very consistent. is something that we should embrace more in our lives because that's what
Absolutely.
sparks like creativity and unique thoughts. I think just being more mindful about intentionally having moments in the day, kind of like how nature appreciation moments, shout out to Kiki. I'm just trying to find little moments in the day to just let myself think and process my emotions more. It's crazy how much things lie on your mentality and stuff, and how much your mentality is such a big part of that.
With everyone, just the group.
Of course. Me too.
That's easy. Purpose, staying alive, pretty convincing argument to do stuff.
What did you miss the most about home or civilization while you were out there?
Of course, I could say family and people, but I feel like that one's a given. Honestly, I think just an actual mattress is probably what I missed most.
That really affects the rest of your day. How well you sleep affects the rest of your day.
I miss my family. I miss my friends. I miss gaming because it's one of my major hobbies.
Being able to sleep not around. Mattress, like,
It's like this. It felt like I was sleeping on a camel. Was there anything difficult about coming back home?
And coming back, I'll every once in a while be like, why am I still? I need to move. But I spent the first 3 days back very close to sedimentary, doing nothing, sitting around, sleeping till noon. Bills suck.
Bills do suck. It was so nice to not think about any of that out there. What was something you felt unprepared for, or something that surprised you?
I was not mentally prepared for solo, I gotta say, for sure. Just because the all-encompassing loneliness, I think, is what I hadn't been prepared for. Very quiet, which feels like obvious, but at the same time also just this weird feeling of it is just me, and I am alone with my thoughts. Because I've spent lots of time alone, of course, back home and everything, but be out in the wilderness with nothing, no distractions. That's what really got me, was that there was nothing to do but survive. Physically, I think I was not actually prepared for dog sledding. I had not expected it to be as much running as it was. I expected a brisk-paced walk next to the sled.
Which is what it turned out to be after all the running, because at some point, you lose gas.
I would take running in sand over deep snow.
Your body's also working harder when it's cold.
I would say unprepared for was mushing though, cardio-wise, strength-wise and stuff. I was there, I could push that thing, whatever. So it's the running killed me.
In deep snow.
If it was running on pavement, I would have been fine. I would have been able to do that. Or on ice, even. Ice, I don't know, was whatever would have been fine. The fact that it was just snow, and so your feet would move every step. They would slide every step.
This comes back to me comparing it to the summer program, but just seeing the sheer difference in terrain was, I have a weird way of putting this. If I was in a relationship with somebody, right? I have a significant other, and I've seen their personality over 2 weeks versus after I got to know them for a couple years. And then there are some things that you learn along the way. That's something I've never thought of. And I've had that comparison with the terrain. Wow, I never imagined the lakes freezing over would look like this. And I wouldn't have imagined walking out into the middle of the lake. Different side of the same coin.
Unprepared. Running along sled in snow is really hard. Something for you that you're so light that you don't, like you being on the sled doesn't really that much to the dogs.
That was such an advantage. But I still felt like I needed to run to help.
Well, I was pushing, I was like, when I would be like pushing sled, it didn't feel like that much of a difference either. So I don't know.
But I couldn't just stand there. But that's good to know.
A lot of it was that the boots were so heavy. I mean, with lighter, regular snow, it would have been easy. But usually when you're running alongside, it's because you're like stuck in snow and you're pushing the sled. When it was you and me on the back sled and we got in that snowdrift right towards the end.
Yes, I remember that too.
That was brutal.
Too. And like after it was super windy or during.
And those dogs by us. Actually, looking back, that was the hardest of the entire dog sled part. The only thing that comes close is when we were heading to our drop off, it was probably the second to last day, we kept stopping. That was brutal.
When the wind was like whipping? Yeah.
The skiers mostly just keep going. They were just going, doing the thing.
I think I was on ski team that day when it was
I think you were on ski.
Yeah.
But on dog sled, when you have to be on the back on the brake, you can't even like turn because the person's going to signal you. So you're just standing there on the platform with exposed wind whipped. They said it was like 15 miles an hour and like complete bullshit.
Have you been called crazy for doing this? And if so, what is your response?
Every single person so far has called me crazy, from family to friends to folks that I haven't seen in a year. And every
Yes.
time I tell them, you're right. And then I go into all the amazing experiences. The typical response I get after that is, well, that's good for you.
I would never do it, but good for you.
Yes, man, that old fuck who lives at the hotel. He called me crazy because he doesn't like the cold. I just laughed and I said, well, I said maybe, but we already knew that I probably have a couple screws loose. So
I was more like in shock when I like them about my experience and stuff because it is just such a unique thing to do. And
As soon as they hear -45, they're like, wow, you're crazy. I'm like, yeah. And then I have to explain why I did it. And it's like, well, I wanted to, but I wanted to do something hard and something that like would force you to connect with a new group of people.
Cold turkey reflection time. I wanted to ask you what your relationship is like now with coffee. Are you right back in it? Because you went cold turkey, right?
Yes, I'm second, third cup of the day right here. Definitely could have less and be fine, but I genuinely just enjoy the flavor now. I know that I'm capable of just stopping, but I don't have to now. It ended up being surprisingly easy. I struggled on the first day with a rough headache, but largely I think that ended up just being due to a lack of water over the time before as well. I consume copious amounts of coffee and energy drinks and everything, and I recognize that it is something that I need to work on, but I now at least know that I can work on it to do better.
I didn't need to play the video games. I love playing video games. I didn't need to, and I wasn't like, I need it. But it was definitely the inability to contact anyone, aspect that I just couldn't talk to people. So I can do without the video games. It's a hobby. I do it for fun, but I don't need it.
What was the most valuable thing you learned, and how are you applying it to your life now?
Hands-on skills and stuff, not as much, because I feel so much of the work that we did doesn't transfer back to normal life for most folks.
Shelter building, dead and down collection.
I still see that stuff out and about, though. When I see sticks and stuff, I'm like, the biggest thing I think I took away was just this confidence and knowledge of I can do this thing. If I can do 30 days in the woods like that, then there's so many things that I now know I can still do.
That I felt like super. I
Yes.
still kind of feel like Superwoman. I can do anything after that.
I took away some of the more technical skills that we used on trail as well, like the O4s, the step backs and stuff. I've started to apply those, working it more into my daily life as well, trying to, hey, there's this issue that I have with this thing that you do. Not using the wording for an O4, but the idea behind it.
I've definitely been more motivated to actually, I don't know, do something with my life. Before, I was literally just spinning in circles and not really doing anything with my life. I was like, I'll do this next week. Yeah, but just endless cycle of just keep putting stuff off. Fair. What it may have also been is the fact that I lost weight.
Maintaining consistency, because I don't think I had any consistency. I just did things when I wanted. I'd like skip meals. So it's nice now. I feel like good when I have 3 meals a day and I make myself do it because I know it's fuel. I need it. I know I'll feel better. And just prioritizing my needs and communicating that to people.
I'm not timing myself, but I feel conscious of the time goals in a way. So I think, okay, if I'm going to do this again, I know how much time I took to do blah. And this time I want to be able to finish these tasks even faster. Just, I don't want to reach a point where it's like, okay, now I'm at a comfortable speed. I just want to keep getting better.
You have a lot of momentum.
I want to keep that momentum. I don't want it to slow down. Even if I get good at something, I still want to see how much I can improve it.
You can do anything you want.
As long as you put your freaking heart and mind into it, you can.
I like mindset has changed so much in terms of like I have like just for myself what I can and can't do. And it's helped me make so many decisions as a result. I pushed myself out of my comfort zone a lot and tried to stand up as a leader more for the group. I would like to continue to grow in that area of having like continuing to have voice and speak my mind and focusing more on being there for others and using my time in a more productive manner for the entire group.
My mindset very different. Can't exactly pinpoint it, but I can definitely tell you that it's different. More resilient, perhaps, confident, soft skills of like patience, learning to connect with, learning what motivates people, learning how to like direct and people in a way that makes them feel good. That's actually something I have practiced.
Advice for anyone looking to do anything similar to what we did or doing a Voyageur Outward Bound course?
I'd say make sure that you have good gear, but make sure that it's something that'll work for you, something that's comfortable. I had a few top base layers, and one of them, it was a good base layer, but because of the material, it was smart wool, so it wasn't fully a wool. A bit scratchy of a material. Honestly, just accept that you're going to be cold. It's a struggle when you are cold. You know that you're going somewhere cold, and then you still want to be warm. Of course you do, but it's just an awkward feeling being always cold. So I think taking the mindset of it's gonna be cold and living with it. Like Colin said, one of our first few days, we can be cold and miserable, or we can be cold and happy. You can adapt it to anything in life. You can be miserable and tell yourself that everything sucks, or you can say, well, this sucks. Here's what I'm going to do, or here's going to be my mindset instead of accepting it as it is. We still slogged through. We still made it through the day, giving it everything. And just that, I think, helps giving it your all out there. Because for me personally, giving it my all, I was able to then see the work I could do, and everyone else was helpful with little comments here and there of, hey, good job with this or that. And that in itself helps with the mindset.
And we become so receptive to people's energy. And even if one of us were having a bad day, the rest of us were there to balance that energy and bring us back up the next day or however long it took to get out of the slump. So that's what I really loved about our group dynamic. Like,
You can't just go into it. You got to physically prepare for that. But if you're a runner, right? You're like peak physical fitness or whatever, you should be fine. But just like the average person, so you're like average, like me, more or less. I was a little overweight, but still average, right? The average person can't just go in there and do this. You have to physically prepare. You also have to mentally prepare because you're isolated except for the same, usually, 8 other people. And that is it for 30 days. Occasionally, right, you go back to base and you get to see some other people, but it's 30 days without any contact physically too. It's demanding. It's not, it again, I couldn't, if I hadn't started working out, I would not have finished. I would have gone home. I knew the dog sledding was not going to be like Disney movie, like Balto style, where they're just riding on the sled, right? Because these are cargo sleds. The dogs are already pulling a lot. Sometimes you can ride on them, but most of the time it's you jogging alongside or scooter kicking because dogs need help. And that's where you need the endurance. Endurance is key for this. I would definitely start doing it 2 months or more in advance, just prepping for it. Because the more you prep, the more you work out, the easier it'll be when you do it. And I want it to be a challenge, but I also don't want it to be ridiculously difficult. So this was tough, but it was doable. It wasn't an ungodly amount of difficulty. But if you run cold, I would definitely prepare for that too. If you know that you get cold easily, bring extra layers. They tell you not to bag breathe.
we all
Don't do it.
That was the only way, honestly.
See, the thing is, though, too, I would bag breathe, but I would take my puffer and just plug the entrance. And they're like, well, because you'll breathe out a lot of water and then it would freeze during the day. And I'm like, but the thing is that once I get back in it and it melts and then my body dries it and it's fine.
My sleeping bag was perpetually frozen.
And it's best to lessen your technology use so that you can get used to just talking to people. It makes it a lot easier for me to break the ice with people and just get over that awkward beginning phase where everybody's like, don't know you, you're kind of weird. They think I'm weird and gross.
But we were all weird and gross out there.
The more water you drink, the easier it is to stay warm because you're hiding up. So there's really enough good energy in your body. Your body is already working harder than it normally is to keep itself warm.
Stay hydrated, keep moving, keep track of things. It's not going to come easy, but that's all part of it. And empathy is definitely one of the big things. You'll find yourself in moments of immense frustration or you're just deeply struggling. You try to put yourself in other people's shoes. You definitely want to have that compassion. Even if you're struggling, just help out, be supportive.
My biggest piece of advice is to try not to have any sort of expectation or put any sort of expectation on it, because I feel like you're just kind of bound to or get something out of it. So just kind of going in most open mind possible. I think something that I'm really grateful that I did was knowing myself. I knew that I was going to want to give up. I knew I was going to have thoughts of like, I cannot fucking do this. Like, this is way too much for me. Like, why would I do this? But my whole point of going into this trip was to put myself in an uncomfortable situation and try to challenge myself physically and more so mentally. So I think having the mindset of like, it's going to be hard. I'm not going to have fun most of the time, or not most of the time, but a lot of the time it's going to be really hard and hard to enjoy it. And I'm going to be uncomfortable and I'm going to want to give up. But just like reminding yourself during the journey that you are strong, you are capable, it is worth it in the end. It is 30 days, which seems like a lot, but it really isn't.
Bye.
It's such a, it goes by kind of fast and a short period in your life that's going to have such a huge impact on what comes afterwards. So I think it's 100% worth it. So
Train physically very hard. Also, probably the best way to train mentally. And that's really the best thing you can do to prepare. Because if you're having a really hard time physically, it's going to be hard to keep your spirits up and like stay locked and push yourself. Having that like endurance and stamina and like physical is really big. And it wasn't really something that I expected to be a limiting factor, and it really wasn't for myself. But definitely working cardio, probably the thing I can recommend, especially for the dogs. Like definitely would sprinting. Just like anything that's really hard and helps with your cardio. Really think what you want to get out of it, and then just like reflect on and what everything means to you, and just try and stay as open as you can.
How did you prepare for the trip?
I had gotten a bit back into working out again, not as much as I would have liked, and definitely not enough to have felt prepared for once we got there. But aside from just buying some gear for cold weather, I honestly didn't do as much as I wish I had to prepare.
Daily, 30 push-ups, 30 sit-ups, 30 squats, 3 30-second planks, 2-mile walk/run.
Team appreciation.
We were very listen to one another and see how everyone was feeling. Cece was amazing with that. At me, hey, how are you doing? What's going on? And she made a point of trying to check in with everyone at least once a day, and that was amazing.
Now you guys are some of my favorite people on the planet. But you're going out there with complete strangers. You know nothing about any of these people. And you're about to all of a sudden go on a 30-day trek with people you've never met before in your life. We got lucky with our group to where we all got along. Those groups, I'm pretty sure, are random. They randomly place people in them.
Because we were offline for 30 days, the connection that we have is so much stronger than all the people I've met. The way everybody communicates, the energy within the group, if that wasn't there, I definitely would not have made it anywhere as much as we have.
it was just so cool to connect with a group of people from all different parts of the world and all just be able to connect like that, because I think that's very special. I think all communities specifically just had this engagement with each other that, yes, we had some conflicts, yes, we got annoyed with each other as expected,
Right.
but we all were just ourselves. And my favorite part of that trip was the fact that I 100% felt like I was myself the whole time. And that is not something that I experience on a daily basis. It feels like things feel so much more fake or overdone, or your true emotions aren't reflected all the time in the way you come across to people. And I feel like in that trip, it's so hard to not be so in your emotions. And that can be a challenge and something that causes conflict. But at the same time, I think it's healthier because then people understand the way you feel in a certain moment and they can give you space or they can be supportive to you. Or if you're doing super well, then that's also great. And it's like a true, genuine emotion. I feel like I was able to connect with everyone in a way that I'm not usually able to, and society in general. So I think that was a super special part.
I really miss everyone. It was such a great group. Like, it's so wholesome.
What's the biggest challenge you overcame?
Waking up every day and saying, all right, it's a new day. Let's tackle the day. What's going on? Where are we traveling? Getting the ball rolling in the morning, I think, was one of the toughest parts. And I would undo my laces every day because I would do them extremely tight in the morning.
I lost 30 pounds on the trip. I feel so much better about myself, though, because of it. So, good thing, though. It was a lot of fat that I needed to burn, so I'll take it. I don't need to be the best in shape one here. I just do not want to be a burden. I do not want to be the one getting and holding everyone back. And I made sure that that didn't happen.
You were really good up front, actually. You set a good pace, especially for me, because I was the
My
slowest
le-
one.
I have Sasquatch legs, so I take these long loping strides, which it's a problem because slow for me is fast for other people just because I have long legs. So it was a challenge for me a lot to set a pace that was good for everyone else.
You did great because you kept checking in on us and looking back.
Taking care of my water was one of the biggest things I was struggling with. I would just never keep track of how frozen my bottles were. But that felt like a good learning experience that I should keep track of my things. And after I started backpacking, felt that Bob structure mentality just brewed in my brain. Just like I have a couple lists on my phone showing all the expenses I've done so far, just keeping track of accounts. I have made a big list of everything that's in my duffel bag during either camp setup or camp disassembling. Just constantly keeping yourself moving to stay warm and staying positive while doing a lot of tasks was incredibly difficult for me. Some moments I was just internally really struggling. I was just thinking to myself, gotta push, keep going. That was difficult. I had the willpower, but just getting myself to do all the things that we've done was pretty difficult while staying positive.
Because your body is clearly in so much discomfort, so it's hard to
Constantly.
resistance with your body to be positive. It's really a mental fight to do the opposite of what your body's telling. Your body's like, I'm cold, I'm in pain, I'm tired, I'm hungry. And you have to be like, it's okay. We have to keep going. And it's just a lot of resistance there. So it's hard. But we did it.
If there was tension between people. So during moments like that, to show support, what if I accidentally don't say the right thing? I felt pressure that I might say something that would derail instead of help out.
Right.
So it is difficult for me to see people in negative situations and trying to help them out by just saying something helpful. I don't know I constantly think to myself, oh, what's the right thing I can say in this situation to help him out or help anybody out?
I think a lot of times when people are struggling, a lot of times they don't want advice. They just want to be seen and heard and maybe some company. All I could think to do was give him a hug. Like, we're here for you. That's it. 'Cause I didn't know what to say. It's hard because exactly what you're saying. You don't want to say the wrong thing. And I don't want to be giving unsolicited or unwanted advice that
Exactly. And I don't want to say things that sound wishful and hopeful, but don't actually help in a way. Anybody can say, hey, we can just get through this, but it's not like everybody's on the same page of willpower and motivation.
And you have to let them feel their feelings. It's okay to feel that and take as long as you need to feel that.
There's also that balance of, oh, do they want personal support? Do they want some attention that might help? Or do they want space? It's also kind of delicate trying to ask that just straight up. So balancing that, I'm still trying to figure that out with myself too. As I keep meeting people, I think I'll eventually start picking up on from the body language or from what somebody else is saying, whether they want to have space or whether they want some comfort or attention or what.
I honestly think it's all about listening and being observant, like you said, watching the nonverbal cues and even just feeling the energy, using your intuition to feel the energy and practice doing that and getting better at recognizing the cues. But I think we all did really good with handling every time there was a breakdown. We did really good, especially with all the communication tools we were given. So I feel a lot better about that moving forward as well, equipped for any situation.
The communication tools are
super helpful.
Pushing through is really like the hardest thing. There was like little moments, really just having strength to keep going when you're that tired was probably the hardest part.
Highlights and favorite moments.
I'm always thinking about like the biscuit that was frozen onto Kate's jacket. I think one of my favorite moments though from the trip, I remember in the beginning, like one of the days we were sawing wood together, and that was like so fun, and we were like, oh my god, like we're such badasses, this is so like and then we were on that huge tree down the hill.
My God.
I'm honestly grateful that she put us in that position to challenge ourselves like that.
And we did it.
Absolutely.
We did it efficiently.
No, I think we thought about it very smartly, and I think we're both like people that are like super stubborn. And I feel like I can definitely be pretty stubborn, but
in their ways.
so I feel like our like the way we were together is really good. So it like helped us when we're trying to navigate that tree down a hill.
I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else.
Same.
And when the dogs first started pulling us, I felt high, dude. You're actually just speed skiing across the terrain was, oh, especially on the open lakes and dog sled highway, the track that was most popularly used, and how fast we were just going through it. Oh god, the sled belaying. Oh my god. Phyllis fell on me twice. I like ate snow. I was on the left side and she was on the right side. And as we were going down one of the hills, the sled was tipping over to my side and then she tumbled onto me and then I fell right into the snow. It was so much fun. So it's not like it was a super soft landing, so we're all
Good times.
Would you do it all again?
100%. No hesitation. I would love to go to the Boundary Waters again. I'd have spent the extra $45 for a second layer of gloves, base layer gloves, because my
Oh.
biggest issue every day was that my fingers were freezing.
The hands being cold is no joke. It's really paralyzing and disabling, really.
I bought my own pair of choppers, so the pair that I got goes down to the middle of the forearm.
You can tuck your sleeves into it.
Yes. Pissed me off whenever I fell because my hands would go to catch me before I hit the snow. And I would always end up with snow just in a little ring around my wrist. And it was such a little thing that got me every day.
I need a break, but yes, I would do it again.
I would love to. Like it's so cool perceiving the things we have perceived, but at the same time, gosh, going through 5 layers of just wearing stuff. It's both exciting and incredibly daunting, and just a mixed bag of emotion. If I had to group the sog bisques, I could do the dog sledding program 100 times over, but at the same time, I would not want to do it 100 times over.
Would like to say that I would do it again, but in reality, I don't think I could get myself in that situation again.
I really do think like that challenged me much and I grew so much from it. And I think doing it again would
Continue to push me because it is just so hard. But I think I would be more drawn to another environment or just trip in general, just to have a different variation. And also just like that cold temperature was one of the most uncomfortable feelings.
Yeah.
I'm just so happy with the experience that I had that doing it again would somehow
Taint it.
not take, yeah, it would taint, I feel.
Another
I could do it for a few days and then I'd be like, I've had my fun. I'm here.
like packing camp and relocating and unloading camp and doing it all over again. That like
True.
up some time.
True. And the fact that we did that every single day, like we would never hit a spot, was kind of insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like so was just set up for like living.
I've thought about it. I would like to, but I don't know if I can just leave life behind for a month. I would do a summer course. And that's something I would do. I think I'd do another winter course though. I would never do something like that recreationally with friends. I'm for that. That would be a very dangerous thing to do. I don't own a sat phone. Like there's all the little stuff you think about, but
Yeah.
if it's life or death, they're gonna help us. The point stands, right? Like that would be very dangerous. I'd be willing to do lesser camping experiences, maybe like a bottom of like degrees. I think the negatives is like you really need to have everyone has to be prepared with all the gear. You need like your safeties in place. You have to have a really good plan.
True. Maybe I needed to hear that because I was like, oh, I'm ready to go take my friends, but you have a good point there.
Anything below freezing, you have to be pretty prepared. Like, also, the way they do it is like they maximize price effectiveness rather than actual effectiveness. You can find better gear, like sleep bags, you better like anoraks. Careful. You can't like play around with your safety. Like I'm very surprised that we were so fine.
That is all, folks, in this kind of two-part series, if you may, of our backpacking experience up there. I might add a few more videos, maybe a packing video, or I don't know if there's anything specific you would be interested in hearing more about when it comes to winter camping or anything in general, really. I'm open to ideas for next videos. I'm currently in the Bay Area farm sitting and figuring out where life is taking me. So stay tuned for more stuff. I hope that you are happy and healthy and safe, and I will see you in the next video.
He is a chunk-a-lunk.
Alexa, Turn on basement light. It just made it look really creepy. I'm going to be real with you. This is Athens.
Hi, Athens.
Pythons are very docile and won't bite. Boas will. Boas are a lot more nippy and more likely to bite. And he has tried to get me a couple times.